It's the second week of Camp Nano, and it's about that time in my cycle where I start questioning everything. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl here, Laura, over at Laura Writes. Ding! If you're new here, hi, I'm Laura. I write young adult fiction, and I'm currently working on a YA horror that I'm hoping to be ready to query by the end of the year. That is looking less and less likely, but you know, we like to quote Joe Dirt around here. You can't have no in your heart. So, still working on it. It is Camp Nano. It is the second weekend of Camp Nano. And the last you saw me, I was on a good stride. You know, I was making progress, and I was concerned about how much work I'd be able to get done during the week. And that was with good reason, because, so, okay. So I've been working on the fun and games, and I wanted to take a pause because I was just doing it chapter by chapter, but I was like, okay, I feel like I need to look at this as a whole and get all of the chapters outlined first, because they're all kind of functioning together. So I've been trying to brainstorm that, which takes time to like really think, and like it's like a puzzle or something, you know, where you're like trying to make the pieces fit and the things work. And I realize, and I know this is a cycle, you know, I'm really, okay, let's have like a real talk here for a second. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know that I have just really struggled with this book for the last like 2 years. And I know that, yeah, because it's almost been 2 years since I've been on authortube, and I've been working on this same book. And I feel like I have really similar revelations that something in my book isn't working. And then I have to go back, and then I have this big revelation, like I fixed it, and I'm so excited. I start working, and then I discover a new problem. And I know that there could be some thoughts like, girl, you're just always gonna keep finding problems, but I don't see it that way. A lot of you have been writing for years. You did a lot of writing in your teenage years and stuff like that, and I did minor in creative writing, and I did consider, I kind of weighed my options between creative writing and English, and ultimately went the English academic route because I didn't have enough confidence in myself as a writer. And part of that was because of the courses that I took in writing and how they really pushed literary writing and not genre. And also it was like a lot of short story pushing. There was no like novel writing stuff in the schools that I attended. So I'm not good at short stories. I'm not good at literary adult fiction, and it was really discouraging for me, and so I stopped writing. I was like, well, I'm just not as good at this. I'm very good in academics and academia, and so that was the road I chose, and I stopped writing. I didn't stop reading. I didn't read as much of the genre stuff that I like YA or anything that's not like literary. I read less of it because I was reading so much for academia that was literary, but I was still sneaking it in, like in my Christmas breaks and stuff. I was reading, like, you know, all the YA stuff that was coming out and Princess Diaries and all that other stuff, but I wasn't writing it. And so I really stopped, and I never really wrote a book, a first book, or even attempted to write a book, or attempted to write YA, or attempted to write genre until let's say my first book, which was a sci-fi, that one was in 2014. So that was the first time, and I was still in grad school then, and I was trying to balance that. It was just when I was first dipping my toes in that. And so I started working on that a little bit, but I had no idea what I was doing. I had never read any craft books. I didn't know how to write a book. I literally didn't know. I didn't know anything about how to write a book. I'd never written YA. Like, it was all just no idea. And I wasn't watching any YouTube videos or anything. I was really just kind of trying to figure it out myself, while also trying to do all my academic stuff, while on the precipice what ended up being a very long depressive episode. The biggest depressive episode I've ever had in my life, which started around the end of 2014 into 2015 and lasted until about 2017 or 2018, where it just like slowly escalated and got worse and worse until I couldn't leave the house and couldn't leave bed. That was the rock bottom for me when I finally got more appropriate help. And here I am now as Laura 2.0 after that. That's kind of how I measure my life, which is why, I don't know if many of you know this, is why I kind of refer to myself online as Laura 2.0, because after that major depressive episode that lasted for so long, I really kind of emerged it a different person. Really being able to handle my depression and anxiety much better. I'm learning now, and this is something that I've been dealing with these last few months. I thought that I've had some residual stuff. I wasn't planning to just divulge so much, but here I am. So let's just get it all out there, like I said. I'm a totally different person, I feel like, and I think the people around me would agree, than I was pre that depressive episode. It completely changed my life. Getting the right medication for anxiety and depression completely changed my life fundamentally and who I am. And so that's just kind of how I refer to myself online. That's when I started YouTube on my personal channel. That's when I started putting myself out there more and just being very different, because I felt different. I felt like I was able to kind of, first of all, be myself, but then also accept myself. And that's why I refer to myself as Laura 2.0. It was like this new version of myself after that depressive episode. But since then, there have been years of some, what I thought was just residual stuff from depression and anxiety, because I'm like, you know, the meds, they don't solve everything. So obviously these things are residual from my anxiety disorder. I've since realized in the last few months, and this is something that I wasn't planning to talk about in this video, and maybe I'll talk about it more later because I'm still in the process of really understanding it and also working with my doctors about it. But I'm also starting to realize that a lot of these residual behaviors are actually ADHD. And it's hard to talk about. It's something I didn't really, like I said, didn't really want to bring up because I'm still working through understanding what that means for myself at 37. You know, figuring out that a lot of these things that I thought were just strange behaviors of myself or quirks or deficiencies really can be explained by my brain. And it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to understand. And there's a lot of grief that okay, I don't want to get into this, but of just like things that didn't work out in my life that I'm now realizing the reason was not because I suck, or because I couldn't do something, or there was something wrong with me, but I had an undiagnosed issue that made some of these things really difficult for me. Academia being one of them. But anyway, that was not what I was trying to get at. So my point was, how do I, ADHD, okay, I'm just like way off. But again, I wasn't planning to talk about that, and I would like to talk about it in another video, but I'm still understanding this and processing this and working on it with my doctor to get like, a proper diagnosis, proper medication, all that kind of stuff. And as someone with, you know, I'm going to say right now, you know, someone who's working through a current diagnosis of ADHD. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And it's just not something I'm really ready to talk about right now too much. But I will someday talk about writing with it, understanding it, learning you have it, how it works with writing and all of that. So I will someday, when I'm ready, have that video and have that discussion. But my point was that getting back, God, I can't believe how off track I got. I didn't start working on writing until about 2015. So it's only been about 6 years, but because my depressive episode got so bad, they were happening simultaneously, that I took a really long time to write that book. And then when I finished that and came up with this idea for the one I'm working on now, that's when my depressive episode got really bad and I stopped writing for like a long time. And I didn't pick it back up because I couldn't do anything. I also stopped reading, and I stopped leaving the house or working or doing anything. And all of that lasted until I guess that was 2017 or 2018. I can't remember which year. If I spent the time to figure it out, I could, but it doesn't really matter to the story. Well, I guess it kind of does. Give me 1 second to do some math in my head. We'll cut this. Okay, so I did the math, and I'm pretty sure it was 2017. So it wasn't until about 2018 when, so my depressive episode, I started coming out of it in 2017, and then there was like, you know, so about 2018 is when I jumped back into trying to write. So I haven't had that much time is what I'm trying to say, figuring out how, and learning how to write. And I only really started reading craft books last year. So all of that to say, the TLDR is that I am a noob. And so while it may seem like I'm doing this kind of like cyclical, vicious cycle of like starting back over, what I see is someone who hasn't been writing that long. And so kind of what I'm doing is some people write like 10 books to like figure out how to write a book. I'm writing the same book 10 times trying to figure out how to write a book. So every time I go back to the beginning, I fix something that helps me learn a little bit better what it means to write a book and what it really takes and what a book should have and be like. And so as I mentioned in my live stream last week, I watched Lozelle's section on the fun and games and really focus, close my eyes and everything because I can't have distractions, and really listen to what she was saying and visualize what she was saying about the fun and games, how it functions, how to come up with subplots, how they connect to the overall. And something just really clicked for me and it totally made sense to me. The fun and games, which was something very elusive, felt very random, very hard to pin down, suddenly didn't feel so overwhelming. I totally like understood it, but in figuring that out, I realized that I need to fix some things earlier. I don't have to redo everything, like it's not that dramatic, but I realized that my shard of glass is not refined enough. It's still a little too nebulous, but not just that, it's also, I'm sorry that my vlogs are just so long-winded, but this is how I work out stuff, is by sharing it with you guys. So hopefully maybe hearing me ramble helps you guys too. But anyway, it also doesn't, I don't have the ending of my book figured out. And so when I was trying to figure out, well, okay, well, how am I going to end this? I'm having a hard time taking, so what I see is someone who hasn't been writing that long. And so kind of what I'm doing is some people write like 10 books to like figure out how to write a book. I'm writing the same book 10 times trying to figure out how to write a book. So every time I go back to the beginning, I fix something that helps me learn a little bit better what it means to write a book and what it really takes and what a book should have and be like. And so as I mentioned in my live stream last week, I watched Lozelle's section on the fun and games and really focus, close my eyes and everything because I can't have distractions, and really listen to what she was saying and visualize what she was saying about the fun and games, how it functions, how to come up with subplots, how they connect to the overall. And something just really clicked for me and it totally made sense to me. The fun and games, which was something very elusive, felt very random, very hard to pin down, suddenly didn't feel so overwhelming. I totally like understood it, but in figuring that out, I realized that I need to fix some things earlier. I don't have to redo everything, like it's not that dramatic, but I realized that my shard of glass is not refined enough. It's still a little too nebulous, but not just that, it's also, I'm sorry that my vlogs are just so long-winded, but this is how I work out stuff, is by sharing it with you guys. So hopefully maybe hearing me ramble helps you guys too. But anyway, it also doesn't, I don't have the ending of my book figured out. And so when I was trying to figure out, well, okay, well, how am I going to end this? I'm having a hard time taking the external and the internal and making them combine in a good way where the internal helps to solve the external, if that makes sense, without getting too much into it. Basically what I mean is that like, they're just not going to connect in a way that I think will make sense. And I know that a lot of people can work that out in the writing or in the revision process, but that's just, I'm trying to fix all of those things in the zero draft so that when I do finally start drafting, it will go quickly and it's ready to go and I don't have to work out any of these quirks. That's my thought process on it. I mean, I don't know if I'll always do things like that, but that's how I want to do it right now. So I'd rather do it in this zero phase and work out all these issues, all these problems in the zero draft, or as much as I can anticipate, so that I don't have to go back and fix them in revisions. So that's what I'm doing right now, is what I'm all that to say. That's what I'm doing right now, is I'm going back to Act 1 and I'm really just trying to, I'm going to do some brainstorming to kind of refine my shard of glass, but then I also need to come up with my ending, I feel like. I need to figure out, because there is a supernatural element, I think that's the hardest part, and the thing that scared me the most about horror is how do you end horror? Like, horror movies are so easy to end because you don't have to have an ending. You can just be like, and they survived. We don't need to know what happened with the you know, the supernatural thing, or we don't need to, like, there's just a lot of things you can leave open-ended that you can't in books. And I've been kind of scared about how to end my book. And I've been reading a lot of horror to see how they end it, but I'll be honest, I haven't been super satisfied with a lot of the horror that I've read and how they ended it. And I feel like a lot, I don't want to say it's a cop-out, because it's definitely like an element of horror, and who knows, I may do it in the future, so I definitely don't want to say it's a cop-out, but I feel like a lot of it gets explained at the end as like not supernatural, as an out, you know, to like end it. And I don't, it's not that I don't want to do that, because maybe I am doing that or maybe I'm not. And again, I haven't even decided on my ending, so I don't know. But what I'm saying is like, for example, a lot of these books are like ghost books. And then it was like, oh, it wasn't a ghost all along. It was really this or whatever. And it's like, I don't want to do that. There's no mystery to my book. And maybe that's part of the problem too, is I feel like a lot of these horrors, the crux is around a mystery, and then that makes it really easy to follow and solve at the end. And that's how you kind of wrap everything up. And so because I don't have a mystery either, I mean, maybe there's a mystery. Again, not in any traditional sense. I'm struggling. So what I want to do today, I don't know what I'm trying to, okay. Oh, you get to see this is how my brain works, you guys. This is pretty par for the course here. Also, did not realize that there was some sort of GIF on Twitter running in my background. So sorry if that distracted anybody. I'll try to block it with my fat head. So, all of that to say, I don't know if I'm gonna get any words in today, because what I plan to do is Lainey's about to go live with Alexa, and they're gonna do some sprints and stuff, and I'm gonna use that time to try to brainstorm. I wanna brainstorm and really kind of try to flesh out my shard of glass, how it connects to the external better, how it can help with the external, and then also what my ending is, because that's gonna matter. So that's what I'm working on right now. That's what I'm working on today. So I don't know that I'll have like a word count update or whatever, but I can let you know the progress of how my brainstorming is going and how I'm feeling about it and that kind of stuff. So I don't know what my weekend's gonna look like in terms of word count and progress toward my chapters. So yeah, I also need to brush my hair. Ugh, you can't see the rat's nest in the back, but so this was a very long intro, but I really wanted to talk it out and where I'm at. It also helps me kind of understand what I'm doing. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm gonna do. And it might be time for Lainey and Alexa, because I did talk for a long time. So I'm gonna get back over to my desk here, my messy desk that I've also not cleaned. And for today, at least for now, for this afternoon, it's oh, I didn't even say, it's like Saturday, the 10th? Let's see, I get my vaccine, my second shot vaccine on Thursday, which is the 15th. So 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Yes, today's the 10th. It's around 3 p.m., 4 p.m. No, it might be 5 p.m. I think Lainey was gonna go live at 5 p.m. So I think it's right before 5 p.m. And so that's where I'm at. This morning, we just watched some traveling vlogs and ate breakfast. And I finished listening to, yeah, it's You Have a Match by, I don't know if you can see that, but Emma Lord. Yeah, there we go. I just finished listening to that this morning. So it's decent, it's good. It's a contemporary. I liked it. Sometimes I like YA contemporaries as palette cleansers. I think they're nice. I think that like they're very soothing. You can just listen to them do other things, and I appreciate them. So that is what I finished listening to this morning. So now I'm gonna go work on some brainstorming. I'll be back later. I'll be back later to let you know how things are going and if I've been able to figure it out. So fingers crossed. All right, guys, I am here for a quick update. I think it's right around 9 p.m. I didn't film any B-roll of me working. Well, maybe a little bit of the live stream that I was sitting in on, that I was watching with Lainey and Alexa. But what I was really doing, but I do want to tell you what I was doing because I think it's helpful, is I just didn't want to show it because I didn't want you to see all the weird stuff I was writing down. But like basically I was just like brainstorming on, oh, my knots in my hair are starting to show. Okay. I was brainstorming on possibilities of things I could do, and so it was like I was literally just like writing different stuff on each page, and I was like asking myself questions, and I was saying stuff like let me find something good. Like, what does she, so I wrote down these that I could kind of explore different options. I wrote down like, what does she want? What does she think she needs to do to make that happen? And what misbelief must she get over before she can accomplish that? Which I just, okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I finally answered it. I just feel so happy, but okay. So it's like stuff like that. So then I was like, okay, what could happen after, like, I don't want to say the thing, but this thing, right? And I wrote down possibilities, and then I was just like, what are some like possible misbeliefs? What kind of misbelief would lead to this? Like, what are some things she could want that would tie in with this? And I was like making a list of that. And then I was like, okay, maybe she does this. And then I explored that option, and that would do this. We'd have to do this, and we'd have to do this. And then like maybe she does this option, and then we have to do this and do this and like do this, right? So I was doing that, and then I like asked my question like, okay. So a lot of the horrors that I read have a mystery element. I mean, really honestly, a lot of YA have mystery elements. They may be like an actual mystery book, or they may just have a mystery element to the book. Mine does not. Did not. And so I was like, okay, I noticed that a lot of books do this. What if I did add a mystery element? What kind of mystery element could I have? So then I was like, what are some possible mysteries I could include in this book that she would explore? And so I made a list of mysteries, and then like explored a couple of those, like what would that do? And then I was like, okay, maybe I'm onto something. I had a couple of good ideas as possible mysteries. I was like, you know what, let me go look at some of the recent horror books that I've read, or other horror books that I want to read, and then maybe just some other books that I really liked, and look like, what is their thing? What is their external goal? What are they trying to do? And specifically with horror, right? So then I started looking at them, and between what I had written down and what I started noticing, I started writing down what some other books do. I came up with an idea that I was like, wait, if I did this mystery, that would help tie in some of the other stuff that I was having a hard time tying in with this like supernatural element. It also helped me refine the misbelief, and I kind of talked it out with Erin, and I worked through like, I basically went back to those questions where I wrote down, what does she want? I answered it, right, to solve this mystery. What does she think she needs to do to like make this happen? And then I had an answer for that. And then like, what misbelief is getting in her way? And I was able to come up with that. So I think I've fixed it. I'm adding a mystery to my book, but I think it was already kind of like headed in that, basically, not that it was headed in that direction, but I don't have to change, because I hadn't gotten too much into the fun and games stuff yet. I am gonna have to change the fun and games, but I haven't actually replotted those out because I was still trying to figure them out, which is why I wanted to stop and do this now. But I won't have to change much of the Act 1. In fact, I don't really have to change anything except for the break into 2, because originally I had something happen that kind of like wrapped that up when we move into Act 2. Not wrapped it up, but it just like was clean ending. Now I'm gonna make it not so clean of an ending, and that opens up the mystery that will get us into part 2. So yeah, sorry, I'm still thinking about it. So I think I fixed it. I think I fixed my book. I think I'm gonna be able to come up with the fun and games so much easier now. But this is slightly different than my original idea. I mean, it's not slightly different from my original idea, but this is adding a new element, a mystery element that I didn't have before. So what I wanna do now is get out Save the Cat and look at the ends of all the chapters where they have like these questions and try to replot a little bit so I can get the fun and games ideas and get all the, at least through Act 2, or a lot of Act 2, or half of Act 2 at least, some of it, so that I can then go and maybe tomorrow, hopefully if I make good progress on that tonight, tomorrow I can start zero drafting again. So that's exciting. I'm excited at the prospect. I've been burned before. You know, this is the fun and games section of me writing a book where I've had some false victories before, but this one feels different. I've said that before. So we'll see. But I think this finally is going to help solve the problem, which is getting through Act 2. Because that's been ultimately my problem for the last year. Everything's great, everything's groovy, everything's cool until I hit the fun and games. And that's when I realized that my story is broken. So I think I fixed it. We'll see, but I'm excited at the prospect. So now I'm gonna go and try to plot this out, make sure it works, make sure it crosses all the T's, dots all the I's, and then I'll get back to you and let you know how that goes. It is actually the next day since you last saw me, so it's like Sunday the 11th. It's actually 5:37 p.m. The last you saw me, I said I was gonna try to do some brainstorming and like outlining kind of stuff, and I did that a little bit, but I did it a little bit more informally. We had dinner and Aaron and I just had like a long talk about my ideas, about this new mystery element that I'm adding. And the ways that I can take it and work with what I already had, but also some new ideas for things to do now that it does have this mystery, and a lot of it is centered on this mystery element to the book. So it was really just more about talking. So today I've been up since around noon. I had stuff to do today, like we did a lot of cleaning that we've been needing to do for a while. Just some like, you know, adulting of things we needed to take care of. And then, you know, we watched some vlogs, hung out a little bit, had lunch, blah, blah, blah. So now it's like, okay, I need to get some stuff done today. I do need to film 2 videos for today. I'm taking a break from my toy channel because we're doing some rearranging of my toy space. So, that's going to be done next weekend. So it'll be a little bit, if you watch my toy channel, or my collecting channel, then it'll be a couple weeks probably till a new video's up. But I actually have 2 old videos that I never uploaded, so maybe I can get Aaron to edit those. Anyway, I do need to film for this channel. I have my Road to Querying video that I want to go up this week, and then I have the following week I want a review of Writing in the Dark to go up. So I'm going to try to film those both today so that I don't have to film next weekend, because we are going to rearrange our room completely. Our whole room, like I think I told you guys this, like our bedroom is actually like the size of what our old apartment was like. So we have most of our stuff in this bedroom just because we're used to living like this. And when we had the whole house for ourselves before my in-laws moved in with us, we really just kind of kept to one like side of the house anyway. So, but we kind of have everything interspersed. Like we have our desks over here, our bed, sleeping space in the middle, and then some filming stuff and bookshelves and stuff over there. We're gonna try to rearrange it to have a more like all of our bed stuff in one place, all of the work stuff in one place, all the filming stuff in one place, as far as what's in here. So like a studio space over there. So anyway, next weekend we're gonna be rearranging the room, so I won't be able to film. So I wanna try to get those 2 videos filmed today. So that is what I need to work on first, is getting ready for those videos and filming those videos. As far as the book goes, I don't know that I'm gonna see any literal progress on chapters, which is what it's what I'm supposed to be tracking this month, but because I've made this change to my story, I need to do some reimagining, and so I need to do some more more along the lines of outlining, of like getting a better idea of what the chapters are. I'm gonna go back over again Lizelle's video and kind of work along with her now that I know my story a little bit better, to work out my subplots, how to get them, so that way I basically want to outline the fun and games and maybe even all of Act 2 before I go back in and start filling in the zero draft. So I'm not sure how much progress I'll get on that today. Like, I'm definitely gonna get progress. I'm just saying I don't know how much of that I'll get done today. So while I technically am not gonna get any progress this weekend, well, okay, I don't know, but most likely will not get any progress this weekend in terms of like actual chapters. I am making progress on the development of my book and my ideas, and I'm really excited about this new mystery element. I think it's taking the story to another level, if you ask me. Oh, I'm excited about it. I'm also going to go back through Save the Cat and look at some sections now that I have this new idea and kind of try to develop them with that in mind. So it's the book that you just keep on using. I can't wait for the one for YA to come out. You might be able to hear Aaron. He's outside the window with the dogs. But anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm up to. I'm also, one second, currently burning, although I think I just put out all of them by switching around the wax, Autumn Woods by Bath & Body Works. You guys, it's heaven. Absolute heaven. Oh. So, it's never the wrong time for some autumn smells, right? So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. That's what's happening. And now I need to get to work on prepping for the videos so I can film. And that way, the sooner I film, the sooner I can get working on my book. So back to work. Have had a long evening. I ended up going for a little car ride with the doggies and filming the 2 videos and prepping for those. And I've also realized, like, I've been trying to flesh out this mystery element that I'm bringing to the book, and I'm just realizing that it's gonna take more brainstorming than I realize. Like, none of my Act 1 needs to change. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of the settings or the story or whatever, but I have to find a way to weave in the beginning of this mystery. Like, I've got to weave it into like the idea that I already have. And I just think I need more time to like let it marinate. I started typing up some notes, and then I was like, ugh, I gotta think this through, because I was gonna go. So what I did was I was going to like each chapter. I was like, okay, let me just make some notes of like how I can weave it in, but I really need to think about it as a whole of Act 1, of where to weave it in rather than just going through each chapter. So yeah, so I just need more time to think. So that's what I'm gonna do this week. I don't know that I'll get any writing done, which is no big surprise. I didn't get any writing done last week either. Because this is kind of a big deal, but I'm really excited about this new element. I know I've said I've been really excited about things in the past, and I didn't take away from those, but this is not changing my book. This is adding a layer to it that I think is necessary, and I feel really good about what it can do to help develop my plans for the book already. And it's really like refining it. So I don't know, I just feel kind of, it's hard. It's hard sometimes when I have to like tell you guys like, oh, hey, I'm back to the drawing board again, when I'm not really technically, but that's how it kind of feels sometimes. But I'm learning how to write a book and how to write a better story and how to layer and intertwine and make, you know, pacing better. And So while I'm not going to count any of the words I added because I need some more time. I don't know that they're going to stay the like little notes to myself. So I need more time to think about them holistically of how I'm going to weave the beginning of this mystery or setting up the mystery that's going to happen in Act 2. So yeah. So even though I didn't make any progress word count wise or chapter wise, I actually feel good about what I did because I did spend a lot of time yesterday brainstorming how to, like, I knew I needed something else, like to tie some things together and to refine that external and internal stuff. And I am so proud of myself and happy that I like, a lot of times I kind of freak out with this stuff, and I did kind of earlier in the week freak out, but I sat down and I literally just like asked myself questions, and I was like, okay, here are some possibilities. Let's work through this. Let's work through this. And I'm really, really proud of what I feel like is a skill I am learning and developing, which is how to work out plot holes or like how to develop my ideas better. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm happy about what I did to come up with that idea. So I didn't get as much work done today because I had other things I had to do, other obligations to my home and to my family, to my dogs, and then also to you guys to film some videos. So it just wasn't as productive as I would have liked. So I'm getting a little nervous about whether or not I'm going to be able to meet my goal, my camp goal, but as long as I'm still making progress on my book and I'm not just like not making progress, then I feel okay about it. I feel good about it. So I'm coming out of this weekend feeling a lot stronger about my story and a lot stronger about the fun and games section. And because it's a mystery, I need to really spend some time this week brainstorming how I'm going to have her, you know, figure out this mystery. Like, it's just leaving me with a lot of questions that I need to answer that I haven't answered yet and that I need time to really marinate. And I think I need to sit down again and kind of write out the possibilities. So that's what I think I'm going to do this week and hopefully next weekend. So next weekend is going to be a 3-day weekend for me because I took Friday off because I'm getting my second Pfizer vaccine on Thursday and I didn't know if I was going to have any problems with it. So I thought I would take Friday off just in case. And I'm hoping because I didn't have any problems with the first one that I'll be okay. And then I'll just have Friday off to just do whatever. I was gonna like go back to work if like I originally told my manager that I was like, well, you know, if I'm feeling okay, maybe I'll just work anyway. But then I was like, I thought about it and I was like, no, I'm just gonna take the day regardless. I'm just gonna use my PTO, and then if I do feel good that day, I can work on my writing. So I'm hoping that sorry guys, I had to flip my hair just in case you noticed because it was so white on the top. So God, I got so distracted about my hair. It like happens so often. I'm hoping to use that as a work day, and then because I usually don't get work done on Fridays anymore because I usually fall asleep so early. This week I fell asleep like 6:30 p.m. and slept until the next morning. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm hoping for the 3-day weekend. Here's basically what I'm hoping is going to happen. I'm hoping that I spend this time this week like really thinking and like brainstorming and like making notes and doing all the things so that I can just start banging it out, baby, and that I can get way caught up really quickly with a lot of those chapters that I'm behind, because I should technically, today is like day, we won't call it the 12th yet, even though it's technically after midnight, 11 days. I should have gotten 11 chapters done. Guys, I'm such a tragic case. Why do you watch me? Oh. Okay, I'm gonna try to stay positive. It's about the journey, not the destination. But it is after 1 a.m., y'all. I have to work in the morning. I need to give up for tonight. I need to let my brain get some rest so I can come up with some good ideas, and hopefully I'll have some stickers to put in my binder or in my planner next week for you guys, and I can move some of those chapters on my board. So keep hope alive. Keep me in your thoughts. And hopefully next weekend will be more literally productive. But remember, we're not being negative. I did accomplish things with my book this weekend, and that is the best way to sort of think about it. So if you enjoyed hanging out with me this weekend, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It lets YouTube know that other people might enjoy hanging out with me too. And if you're going to want to be able to hang out with me again next weekend, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you as always for watching. Bye.